Once upon a time, 131 years ago to be precise, there were 3 brothers. They were triplets, born to separate mothers, perfect clones of their incredibly wealthy father, Cain North. He named them Augustine, Bartram, and Constantine. Although they were excellent replicas of their brother-father, who in turn had possessed all their family's notorious drive, worship of money, and intellectual ability that all Norths inherited, they had a flaw. The genetic manipulation which produced them was a technology still in its infancy. Cain's DNA was fixed by rudimentary germline techniques inside the embryo. It meant that Cain's distinctive biological identity was locked in and dominant in every cell throughout the new body, including the spermatozoon. Any woman having a child by one of the brothers produced yet another copy of the original. This was the flaw in the new dynastic order. As with all forms of replication, copies of copies inevitably saw some deterioration. Errors began to creep into the DNA as it reproduced itself. 2 Norths, as the next generation were called, were almost as good as their fathers, but there were subtle deficiencies now. 3 Norths were of an even lower quality. 4 Norths had both physiological and psychological abnormalities. 5 Norths tended not to survive very long. Rumour had it that after the first 5s appeared, 4s were quietly and diplomatically sterilized by the family. Nonetheless, the triplets were outstanding men. It was they who embraced the new development of trans-spatial connection while it was in its formative years. They took the risk and founded Northumberland Interstellar, which ultimately came to build the gateway to St. Libra. In turn, it was Northumberland Interstellar which pioneered the algae paddies on the other side, where so much of Grand Europe's bioil was now produced. They were the board, directing the mighty company's direction for over 50 years, until Bartram and Constantine parted to pursue their own separate goals, leaving Augustine to lead the bioil colossus. But it was the 2 Norths who made up the higher echelons of the company management. 2 Norths who devotedly ran things for their brother-fathers. 2 Norths who had cast-iron links into the very heart of Grand Europe's political and commercial edifice. 2 Norths who ruled their fiefdom of Newcastle with benign totality. 2 Norths who would want to know who killed one of their brothers, and why. They'd want to know that with some considerable urgency. Think, Sid ordered himself as he shut his eyes to eradicate the sight of his career killer, lying bright and still under the swirling snow. Procedure. Procedure is king. Always. He took a breath, trying to summon up a smooth, rational outlook. The unfazed, take-charge man. An imaginary product of 1,000 boring management courses, like a stereotyped zone media cop. He opened his eyes.